Hi there. We have with us Krish Dhanam, who is very popular as a motivational coach. And I did a little bit amount of research on Krish Dhanam. To give you a brief idea about Krish, he's a prominent motivational speaker focusing on personal development and leadership, sales trainer, expert in sales strategies and professional development, association with Zig Ziglar, the well renowned coach, worked closely with renowned motivational speaker Zig Ziglar, serving as a key member of his speaking and training uh, team. Author, he's written books, several books on personal and professional growth, including works that emphasizes sales techniques and motivation. Corporate trainer, provides training programs for businesses on sales, motivation, and personal effectiveness. I also want to emphasize the fact that Krish Dhanam came into the USA with just $9 in hand. I want to delve a little on that and understand how he grew. But before we get on to all of that, I want to pass on the mic to Krish and ask him to give us a brief introduction about himself and what he is currently doing.
Well, thanks, Dave, for that intro. It's been a long road, 30 plus years of doing the public speaking, but I've been in the United States now for, I think next year will be 39 years. I came here, 1986. As you appropriately pointed out, I came here with very little money, but my hardship story is no different than anybody else's. I just think that my journey was blessed by not my ability, not my intellect. It was not blessed by my giftedness or any of those things. I think it was blessed by people who saw in me potential I didn't think I had and refused to allow me to fail. So I'm the byproduct of other people's generosity, and I am the finished product of my good God's deliverance. So.
That's very humble of you to give out such an introduction. Like as I told you, I wanted to understand from you on how you reached this situation and you have climbed up so well. What was your initial life look like with when you came into USA with just $9 in hand?
Well,
How
like,
did you how
yeah.
did you meet Zig Ziglar?
Well, the $9 story is an interesting one unto itself because my wife was born in the U.S., raised in India, so she's the opposite of every immigrant story. When we met in business school, she said, "What did I want to do with my life?" And like everybody else, I wanted to go west. So she says, "I can go back anytime I want." And so she became an American citizen in India, and you came over in 1984, and I followed her in '86. But when she came to India to get married to me, she lost her job. So I think she had like $50 that came as some wedding money, and then I had my nine. But she had an apartment and a car, and of course the payments for that were due. So we went on unemployment insurance, I think, when we began. So we came up from the ranks, minimum wage jobs, really struggling, uh, eating bologna sandwiches. But we made a decision and a goal that within 4 years of us living together in the United States, we would be earning as much as if we had gone to college here. That was our goal. So, literally, 3 years and 11 months to us arriving in America, we built our first home by living in really rundown apartments, living beneath our means, and always having money to be able to put away. We continued that pattern, and that's helped me grow to where I am. We have always lived beneath our means, and that has allowed us to never chase the money, it found us because we were always diligent in the dignity that we had in the labor that we were allowed to do. So that's the longer story. I mean, it's a Reader's Digest version of my attitude to life has always been let my yearning never exceed my earning.
That's a very, very, very interesting perspective. We would love to adopt that and see that practiced every day in our daily lives. So, coming to our first question, or the thought that I had in my mind, um, what are the common challenges that you have seen amongst individuals or couples that you have worked with, especially amongst veteran spouses? What are the kind of common challenges that you have seen?
I mean, I appreciate what you're doing to provide a platform for that group. I did some work with the veterans groups over the course of my career, and I spent a lot of time training the United States Army, training battalions through Ziglar sales and all that. We did something called Camp Better America, and maybe I'll use that reference of people who came back from war zones, who raised their kids on Skype, who basically were deployed for 9, 10, 12 months a year and left behind spouses to run the family. Two things that we saw: these people came back with some trauma for the war they saw, or the people they saw, or the arenas they were in. And as a result, when they came back home, they tried to solve the home problems like they would in a combat zone. That doesn't work, because in the Army, Navy, or any of the defense forces, you have people who give you orders and you respond to orders. So when they come back together, one person tries to take charge and it backfires, especially in that relationship. So, what we always encourage people to do is don't try to change where you're arriving, try to fit in to the best of your ability. To the person who's on the receiving end saying, hey, you're receiving someone who came with a lot of structure, don't just suddenly take that structure away. Try to make sure they have structure when they come home. And that way, there's some, give them some discipline. And we created that duality. But the problems we primarily saw was turf war. The wife or the spouse who stays home and raises the children has a system that's in place because she's doing two jobs or he's doing two jobs. The one who arrives in has come from a different kind of structure. And when you have two authorities, they kind of clash. Adrian Rogers, the great preacher, once said, anything with no head is dead, and anything with two heads is a freak. So we have to find some kind of leadership. I don't like to use the word sacrifice or compromise, because both of those require you to give up some part of you. I like the word investment, which means when you give up some part of you, do it as an investment into what it can grow into the future, because that's what investment does, even though it costs something in the present.
Very interesting. Very interesting. We are bombarded with self-limiting beliefs, or self-doubts in every second of our life, and especially when your partner is not there with you, to do many chores, either household or official or in your career. um, what are your thoughts on this when we are confronted with self-limiting beliefs or self-doubts? How do we confront them? How do we overcome them?
Well, I was never in the deployed world, but I spent a lot of my time away from the house. So, with the 38 years of my marriage, or 39 years of my marriage in February, I've been gone most of the time. On average, I spend 120 nights a year in a hotel room. So, uh, even though people have been deployed, I can say I've been away from my family more than most people on planet Earth. But what we did was two things. We never stopped communicating while we were gone. So the first voice I have to hear every morning is her voice, last voice I have to hear every night. So even in my absence, I made sure her presence was there by unlimited communication. Nothing suggestive, nothing needy, nothing demanded, but just, hey, hope all is well, missing you. 15 or 20 texts a day that just had emojis in them that said, it was not designed to give a motivational speech or a message. It was just designed to tell the other person, I'm sorry I'm not next to you. This is the best I can do. The second thing is, when I came, we always understood the roles. She was the disciplinarian raising our child. I did not come home and try to shower them with gifts because I was guilty of my absence, nor did I try to come and manufacture love because I was there, I was devoid from their presence. And so I had to understand that she was running the house. And when I came into the house, I was coming into her house. Technically, I was being added into her environment. And even though she welcomed me and it was my environment, I had to make sure I was not upsetting it. And so I picked the things that I was good at. Third thing is when I needed time to myself, I never did it in their time. So I inconvenienced myself to wake up at 4 and 5 in the morning to go lament about all the things that I had to do, that when they woke up, I was ready. When you talk about we are bombarded by self limiting beliefs, 75% of our self talk is of a negative nature. They say upwards of 75% of all illnesses are psychosomatic. So, in order to work on those self limiting beliefs, I had to find the time, and it was not taking away from their time. My family is not my therapy session. My family is my family. They don't need a motivational speaker, they need a husband and a father. So,
Awesome. That those were some of the most assuring words that I've heard. Being doubling up for your spouse, doubling up for your life and family. Uh, I think comfort is the key factor. Those are amazing thoughts and a different perspective. Uh, your thoughts on work-life balance, sir?
the work life balance is a very interesting thing because post COVID, we're living in this hybrid fantasy. And as a result, the generation that is after us are 24/7 operators. So most of them, are on their phone all the time, and the phone and our devices pretty much connect us to our work. So the formula you have to use is what we call blocks of time. We're all working 24/7, and maybe we get I'm good on 6 hours of sleep. Some need 8. Some people can do it in 5. The issue is not how much downtime we take. The issue is how effective can we manage our engagement time. And so if you have 12 hours a day, as Bill Marriott would say, he only works half a day. He works only 12 hours a day. So that's a different perspective. But I have blocks of time, which means I manage my week by the block. I always say X amount of time every week is denoted to those that I report to, my bosses professionally. X amount of time is devoted to my family and my spouse. X amount of time is devoted to my personal growth and belief. X amount of time is devoted to my task. Now, it's not a perfect science, but if you break it up, what you'll have what is called blocks of time. And as a result, if one block is being neglected, it shows at the end of the week because you're playing catch up. So the best way is don't think of time management, think of yourself as a time miser. Everybody has the same amount of time. Ask yourself, are you allowing people to steal the time that you have? And if so, find out who's stealing your time and just use that time and you'll be more effective. So
Wow, be a time miser. That's a very interesting concept. Never heard that from anyone in my life.
yeah, because everybody wants to manage time, but we all have the same amount of time. You're billionaire and you're millionaire. I said be a time miser. If you look where you're wasting your time, you'll become more efficient.
Interesting. Thanks for those thoughts. Um, what are the 3 things or 5 things you suggest we should start doing today, and we can get better at ourselves, improve our self-esteem?
The first thing you would do is invest in yourself, which is every day listen to information that is good, clean, pure, powerful, and positive. Whether you do it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, make that a habit. Put into your mind inputs that are good, clean, pure, powerful, and positive. Psychologists have said the first input you put into your mind every morning is more powerful than the next 5. If you do that just for 15 minutes a day, what you will have done is invested in the bank of life. When you hit the wall, not if, when we all hit the wall, and you have to go and withdraw from the positive, you have to withdraw something from the bank of life. Most people are afraid because they've never put anything. You don't have deposits in your life, so you can't withdraw. Just like you can't go to a bank and take out money you didn't put in. So put into your mind every day good things. So when you hit the wall, you can at least draw from that and break even. Second, every day do something for someone else that they can do for themselves. whether it's making your spouse a cup of coffee or opening the door for her or sending a good thought or a good word. One habit I have is every week I send out 3 times a week, 3 times a week, I send out a motivational thought that goes as a prayer to at least 5 people. I just go start with A, and by the time I get to Z, I've got about 2,000 people and I can go back to A. But what the word is, hey, thinking about you, hope all is well, prayed for you this morning, blessings. You'll be surprised how many of those people call back and said, thank you for thinking of me. I needed that. So, first thing, invest in yourself. Second thing, every day do something for someone else that they could have done for themselves. Give a compliment, do something good for somebody else. Third thing, pray. Have personal time with God, a devotion asking the creator of the world to invest in your life. Now, people watching this or people who are listening to this may come from different faiths, and I'm not giving a theological answer. All I'm saying is that there are 3 things I know as sure as the sun will rise tomorrow. One, there is a God, and it's not me, and it's not you either. So, as a result of that, every day when I bow down to something that I consider higher than me, I have earned the right to ask the world to bow to me, and it's just a conduit of confidence. So, first thing, invest in yourself. Second thing, do something for someone else. Third, pray. Fourth and final, give back. Participate in charity. Every week, don't let a week go by when you have not given of your time, talent, and treasure to someone else. These are all using your healer buddy, that word. These are all healing thoughts. These are all selfless thoughts in a selfish world.
Very interesting, sir. So I'm going to repeat that. First, invest in yourself with a clean, pure, powerful, uh,
Positive.
positive manner, for 15 minutes and see the wonders it can create. Two, do something for someone which they could do for themselves. um, Third is pray, ask for God to invest in you. And fourth, charity, give out the uh, wonderful talent that you've got and make a difference to others life. Thank you.
Yeah, the formula I have, Dave, is I call it learn how to glow. Give more than you have, leave more than you take, offer praise to others, and wait for eternal applause.
Very interesting. I mean, I wish more of people follow some of your thoughts.
Well, they can join me on LinkedIn, which is the only social media I'm on, and then I do put them up there. So,
Awesome. Yeah, this should be very inspirational. um, they say to avoid toxic people or toxic environment. Some environments are really uncomfortable, especially with our daily lives, be it personal or in office. How do you what do you have to say for individuals or couples when they face such situations?
well, you cannot avoid uncomfortable environments, but what you can do is try to learn how to manage them. The way we have always trained ourselves and our staff is this way. If you practice the 4 things I told you earlier, you will develop an immunity to what we call SNIOPs. You will no longer be susceptible to the negative influence of other people. So if you insulate yourself, you don't need to isolate. Maybe this is a good thought to have. It just came to me here. Don't isolate yourself and think that the bad stuff will go away. Insulate yourself with the good stuff so that the bad stuff just breaks even. It doesn't affect you, it still exists. So maybe that's the key. Insulate yourself, don't isolate yourself. But when you insulate yourself with the right things, amazing things will begin to happen. You go into an environment. So when I walk into an environment, I'm a maverick. I take over the environment. One thing I may have shared earlier is there are only 2 kinds of people in this world. When you walk into a room, you're a here I am person or you're a there you are person. A here I am person is a maverick. These are the charismatic people. These are the people who walk into the room and they engage immediately, and people look to them saying, okay, that's an authority I want to be around. The there you are people are the Florence Nightingales and the Mother Teresas. They don't go in for the limelight, they go in to serve. So whatever style you pick, when you walk into an environment, if you're a here I am person, you will not allow someone's negativity to impact you. If you're a there you are person, you're exactly what that person who's hurting needs.
Interesting. I'm making note of all this. They Many of them in the current situation in 2024 have lost jobs, lost many have lost money in the current economy, livelihood. Um, and what do you have to say to people who have lost hope?
Uh, that's a harder thing because hope, when you lose hope, it's basically the last thing you lose. Money is the first thing you lose. But the reason is we have built our lives. So let me give you a premise that Mr. Ziglar gave me many years ago that allowed me to have hope as an anchor and not hope as a life raft. It's a more important, you start with the ingredient of why you need hope. He said, money is not everything, but it ranks reasonably close to oxygen. When you need it, there's never been a substitute. But he said, money can only buy you a house, it'll never buy you a home. So, unless you have a hope for a home, a house is just a dwelling because of competition.
100%.
The second is, money will buy you a bed, it'll never buy you a good night's sleep. Hope gives you peace of mind that allows you to sleep peacefully. I sleep peacefully at night because I know that when I put my head on the pillow, I only ask God this question. I said, is somebody glad I passed their way? And because I've spent a life investing in others, I'm pretty sure every day I'm touching some person in a positive way. So today, as a result of this, I'm pretty sure when I put my head on the pillow, I'm sure someone got hope by this. And so, um, you know, you can, if you chase things, you'll get stuff, but you won't get peace of mind. Money will buy you a friend, it won't buy you a companion, it won't buy you a friend for life. It'll buy you a good time, it'll never buy you peace of mind. So I like the things money will buy, and I've managed to buy good things with money, but I love the things money can't buy. And if you want to have hope, first thing is the job loss situation is hard. But job loss is only hard when you already bit off more than you can chew. I don't know very many people in this world who husband and wife both work who start with a very simple budget saying that, hey, 25% of what we earn, we're going to put away for a rainy day. 10% of what we earn, we're going to give away to somebody else. The first check we write every month is we write it to the church. It is not an obligation, but when I give out of joy, I learn the discipline of living in abundance. Uh, Everything I own belongs to God. So giving Him 10% is not a chore for me. I live with the belief that He's allowing me to keep 90%. It's just a better tactic and a better way to look at it. And so, even in our lean times, we never stop giving. That doesn't mean you won't have lean times, but one thing is, I have had bad days, but my bad days are better than most people's good days because my bad days also have hope.
Very interesting. um,
But
I,
just before we finish that thought, you and I come from the same background. We come from a nation that does not like to complete anything. It likes to compete with everybody. So
correct.
none of us go to our jobs. None of us buy our houses and our cars based on what we need. We always buy our houses and our cars and live in neighborhoods because of what other people will see and how we did. And as a result of that, having two German cars in the driveway is more important than being able to go to India 5 times a year to honor your parents, which I do.
Very interesting thought. Yeah. um,
We all came abroad, but I made 80 trips to India in my lifetime since I moved to the West. But I've never ever been able to look at my father and say, I can't come, we've got too many bills. I've always put away enough money to go see my parents because that's our obligation. What good is it to gain the whole world and lose your soul in the process? We have to honor our father and our mother. Quit trying to compete with the Joneses and honor the people down the street who don't pay a single bill. And when you lose your job, now you what? You have the same car and house as them, but they're not coming to pay anything. Manage yourself. Don't man. See, manage expectation, and you'll manage encouragement.
Very interesting. Yeah, this is something I've always kept it close to my heart, and I've taken this as a personal advice from you. Yeah, I'm trying to go back to India anytime, every time that I can. Um, yeah, so that's on the plan for next year.
Well, and I mean, I have a business there, and so I have the ability to go. I'm not saying everybody needs to go 5 times a year, but saal mein ek baar, if you can go and see your parents, you know what? I mean, what are we doing? Now, if you have the ability to bring them here, by all means, do that. I'm not giving anybody advice that I haven't followed. The only thing I don't want is when I get to the end of my journey. My friend Vicky Hitchcock gave me this statement many years ago. She says, when you get to the end of your journey, there are only two statements you can make. I wish I had, or I'm glad I did. I wish I had is one of regret. I'm glad I did is one of hope. The only way to go get hope is to learn that do today what is needed today. Tomorrow will have its own problems. The Bible says that. I don't have anticipatory grief, so I don't need to have anticipatory hope. I live in the moment.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's some crazy things to follow, and also one of those words of wisdom that we need to follow as well. Growth is uncomfortable, sir. Every day, you've suggested we do something different, and when you're going through that phase, how do you keep yourself happy, smiling, and remain confident of uncertain things?
Yeah, see, happiness depends on happenings, but joy is undiluted. And so, most people, if they're looking for happiness, doing things will make them happy. Going out to eat will make you happy. Buying a car will make you happy. Buying a new outfit will make you happy. Joy only comes when you learn to do something for someone else. So, Mr. Ziegler has a statement that's inscribed in my training room in the other room. It says, you can have everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. So most days I try to do that. I try to invest in someone. I try to either write something. I try to encourage someone, write whatever it is. Every day, try to bless someone. Your day will change. You know, when you go to Tim Hortons, you're in Canada, or you go to Starbucks, anywhere else in the world. Um, and the other day, I went to buy a cup of coffee, and she said it's $2. But I left the balance there, not because it's going to change my life, but it will change hers. Now, the $2 doesn't mean a lot, but a compliment added to $2 will be monumental. I said, oh, by the way, she says, oh, you don't need to do that. I said, I don't need to do anything. I just want to be able to bless you. And that's the word we need to use with each other. The word blessing. We are privileged to walk. See, you mentioned something. Some days are hard. Yeah. Any day you're having a bad day, think of a garbage collector with a weak stomach. He's having a worse day. Any day you look at your shoes and you think they are worn, think of the guy without feet.
Absolutely.
Any day you're worried about not having a job, but you still have a roof over your head and you have nationalized healthcare, think of the Aborigine in Australia, or think of the Maasai in Africa. And then go on YouTube and watch how they worship. How can people worship with song and dance when they have nothing? They don't have a roof over their head. They don't have shoes on the thing. But I tell people, the way you want hope, the easiest way to get hope is go on YouTube and watch people in sub-Saharan Africa pray. You'll get hope right away. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember you saying this. How do you navigate an uncertain time, and keep a cheerful face? You did mention, even in the worst of your times, if you look at somebody who's having a much worse time, you will realize how blessed you are.
Yeah,
Uh,
since you're in the healing business and that's your the therapy and all of the components you're trying to provide. Carl Menninger from the Menninger Clinic in Topeka, Kansas said, when you feel the weight of the world on your shoulder and you feel a nervous breakdown coming on, find someone with a bigger problem than yours and get involved in solving their problem. Yours may not go away, but it will disappear from your presence for momentarily.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I've started taking that in my personal life and moving forward with that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
Krish, I had wanted to yeah, take a few tips or any thoughts before we end 2024 and when we are looking forward to 2025. And what are your plans for Christmas? Any parting thoughts with us?
yeah, maybe since we're ending the year with, everybody January 1, they think is the when they need to set a new goal, and they set it because it's a new year. But I'm an old school guy. I really believe that whenever in life you decide to set a goal, 365 days from then will be another year. So so there's you don't wait till January 1. You want to be an overachiever this year, do something different. Set your New Year's resolutions. I know you want to eat a little more. If you want to lose weight, at least maybe wait till December 26th. If you don't want to wait till January 1st, maybe this year get a 1 week head start and set your New Year's resolutions on December 26th. So I've at least given you a little break for the holidays. But we had a 7 step program at the Ziglar Corporation that has held me in good stead. When I first went through this, I set 50 goals using this approach, and 45 of them have come to pass. And that includes visiting 6 continents, writing 6 books, being to about 47 of the 50 states, being to 80 countries. I mean, there's some huge goals in there. Sailing through the Panama Canal, snorkeling the Great Barrier Reef, riding horseback on the Giza Plateau. So I'm talking about some monumental stuff that's happened. So listen to these 7 steps. First, identify what you want. This is the number one thing. Make sure you have some goals that are long range that take beyond 5 years, some goals that are medium range that'll take 6 months to 2 years, and some goals that are short range that you set between 1 and 6 months. Don't make all your goals big, audacious goals. Make some goals small that are 90 days, 35 days, so you can put some wins under your belt. So identify what you want. Second, ask yourself what will prevent you. What are the obstacles? So if you want to be a time manager, you ask yourself what is preventing you from being more effective on time. If you want to go back to college, what is preventing you? Is it investment? Is it scholarship? Whatever it is, you may not solve all the problems, but at least 85% of the things that prevent you, we never talk about. So identify what will stop you. Third, identify what will come your way if you reached it. Look in anticipation. So when I set the goal that I want to be an international speaker and trainer in a Ziglar seminar in 1990, I said that fortune will come my way, fame will come my way, opportunity to travel will come my way, see the world will come my way. So you write benefits. So first, what do you want? Second, what will prevent you? Third, what are the benefits? Fourth, what new skills and knowledge you need. If you want to go from point A to point B, you need to learn what is required at point B while still at point A. Most of us want stuff, but we don't know what else we need to learn to get that stuff. So, what are some new skills and knowledge you would need? This is called the wisdom gap. So, identify what you want, what will prevent you, what good will come your way. Fourth is what new skills and knowledge you need. Fifth, who are the people who can help you and the groups who can help you. This is affiliation. So, fifth is who are the people and groups who can help you. Now, again, this is Ziglar's 7 step model. You can go online and find it, and it'll give you these 7 steps. It may have different terminology, but this is what the 7 steps are. Sixth, write a plan of action. The easiest way to write a plan of action is look at what's preventing you from going to hit your goal and write an overcoming statement for each. So if time management is one of the obstacles, you say, I have now invested in a daily disciplinarian that will allow me to keep track of time. If education is a problem, then I have now subscribed to some sources that will keep me on track. So write a plan of action. Plan of action is just looking at the obstacles that prevent you and writing an overcoming statement. And finally, put a completion date. So if you're starting on December 26th or January 1, your short-term goals will be 6 months from that date. Your medium range goals will be 2 years from that date, and your long range goals will be beyond. So identify what you want, list the obstacles, list the benefits, list the skills and knowledge needed, list the people and groups who can help you, write a plan of action, and set a completion date. And that's a good goal setting program that has changed the lives and fortunes of many all over the world.
This this is awesome. And before I end this live session, I wanted to understand what are you doing currently, your current engagement with Patriot Academy, and
Sure.
how is it that we can contribute or help or
Yeah,
support?
so there are two ways. Patriot Academy is an organization, it's patriotacademy.com. And I'm the dean of the Patriot Institute that will start next year. But I'm already down in Fredericksburg, Texas, where we have a 176-acre campus and a replica of the Texas Legislative Hall. We're building a life-size replica of Independence Hall. For those of you watching in North America, check out patriotacademy.com. And that's where I'm going to spend my retirement years, in a small town, a tiny home, while we maintain our residence here. I'll shuttle back and forth. But my plan is to invest in the next generation and give away everything that the good Lord has posited in me for the last 30 years. I can't take any of this knowledge or wisdom with me, so I want to leave it with some bright people for whom the future is. So that's Patriot Academy. My ministry is Mala, M-A-L-A, malaministries.org, malaministries.org. And that's what, that's where we take donations, so that I go around the world and share these missives and these maxims to people who do not have that ability. So I spent a lot of time in India, sub-Saharan Africa, and Eastern Europe, encouraging people. And the reason you need to know my truth: 6 months of the year I work for the companies that allow me to make a living. The other 6 months I go serve foundations that allow me to shape lives.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that information. I'm going to put this across here. And viewers, please feel free to reach out to Mr. Krish Dhanam. And he is, as always, being helpful and motivating every individual that comes in his way. Thank you. Thank you, Krish. Thanks for this very insightful session. It's
Academy is just one. Yeah, just Patriot Academy is just, I think it's one C, not two. So,
okay.
so
Sorry about that.
patriotacademy.com. So one C. All right. Yeah. So that's yeah. Any you can reach out to me. I'm on LinkedIn, and I usually answer all my questions. So hopefully this was helpful to you. So
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for this time. And we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Uh,
likewise.
yeah, thank you.
All right. God bless you. We'll see you all later.
Thank you. Bye bye.